don't want people who has a USMLE score only 250 or 260 or whatever it is. They want people who would like to have a score, decent score. I will tell my score in the end because I want to keep it suspense. That would be motivation for you guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Sai Rashmi. I'm from usmle.info page. And today we are going to be talking to Dr. Kunhiabdullah, who is very overly accomplished, according to me. Looking at his CV, I was like, wow, he writes in his LinkedIn page as well. It is PG2 and in brackets it's PG11. And let me tell you a bit about this. So he did his MBBS in Government Medical College, Tirsuru, and then went on to do his pediatrics in Qatar. And he did his neonatology, perinatology fellowship as well over there. He completed it in 2000, and then he came to US, did his neonatology fellowship here in Cleveland Clinic, and right now is in Boston Children's Health. So, hi, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And you have so many awards under your name and so many publications. Like you've got the best fellow in neonatology, perinatal neonatology in Cleveland Clinic. You worked under Dr. Prabhu Parami. I know Dr. Prabhu Parami because last year when I was searching for observers, I reached out to him and he was very kind enough to give me an observer position over there. I've a bit about myself. I've done pediatrics in India and I've applied this season. Thank you for even joining us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I would say like my journey is with the help of a lot of people. Okay, it's not like I was all alone in this path. It's a help of a lot of people, and in a sense I would say it, even though you have all your USMLE or you have your enough publications, that only doesn't mean that you will be definitely matching to a good program. It takes a lot of time and effort to figure out like where exactly to apply and where exactly you know people and how to frame your CV in a way that people look into that and find, oh, this is a guy which will fit in my program. Okay. So first of all, I believe this platform is mainly helping our people who are trying to get into the US system to get trained either in residency or fellowship, whichever they are looking for. But what I would say is that wherever even if you're pre-trained or you're just finishing your med school, you should have a good aim, or you should have a good plan where you want it to be. For me, I started from like ground zero. I didn't have any publications. I didn't have any experience. I did my med school in a reasonably good place in Kerala, India, but I didn't have anybody for contacts to come to United States at that time. So what I was doing is that I did my research and found that pediatrics in Qatar, people who are still in med school, it's something you should know before you come to United States. And we had this a really good institute in Qatar. It's called Hamad Medical Corporation. It's they have all the residencies available. I mean, pediatrics, medicine, radiology, all subspecialties are available. The dermatology, even plastic surgery. So, but that being said, whether you need to get into that program or not depends on not a lot on your CV. So what I would tell you is that people who are in med school work on their CV, what they wanted to work in later on, like in which residency. So I was in I want to do pediatrics, so I try to work in pediatrics as much as I can when I have finished my med school, and I try to get the research publication. Even if it's a case report, that's fine. You work on that one. So I also try to make my CV more appealing in the sense that, in Qatar, they would like to have people who speak their language. So I try to learn a little bit of Arabic and all those things. I'm not saying that for United States you need that, but if you are getting hard time getting to United States, this is a really good bridge if you want to come to United States, because people who are trained in Qatar for some reason, in United States, they know well. And I was specifically asked this question in Boston Children's interview. Oh, you did your training in Qatar. I know the program. The program director I self asked me specifically. So, and they do have people who are trained in Qatar who came here for residency, and they have a really good opinion about them, that they really did good during their residency here. So I'm just telling you to give a brief idea. So, and also the requirement to go there is the USMLE Step 2 CK. So if you are anyway preparing for USMLE, can apply to Qatar too, in case if you are not matching first time United States, you can apply for there also, and maybe you will match there. But I would say the immigrant friendly programs, especially for Indians in Qatar, is pediatrics. Maybe not that much, because they would like slightly Arabic people be speaking people. But I was fortunate to get in. Internal medicine, they have a really good chance of getting Indians, and how many Indians who are doing internal medicine residency there. Emergency medicine, radiology. And I know if someone got into ENT and someone in plastic surgery. But I would say emergency medicine, internal medicine is the best. Whoever want to be in that field, they have a good chance of getting into that program. That's about Qatar. The coming to United States. Okay, so during your residency or your fellowship, or sorry, during your residency or med school, try to work on the CV, in the sense that so I would say, I would like to say that you make your profile appealing, in the sense that you have you have a reasonably good score, you have a reasonably good some publications that interest in the specific field you are applying, you have some quality project if possible in that specific field, or in some field, that's fine. Quality project doesn't take that importance, but if do take some importance, if it comes with that, you have done some case reports or case series or articles, something that's really good. And you also the people. So nowadays we have people who has 260, 270 scores. I have, because I also work with my colleagues to look at the CVs which we should call for interview when it comes to fellowship. I did that when I my chief here. So what we are looking for is that people who are like have all the profile ticked in. So but still the scores alone will not give us too much information, like this, how is this guy. So nowadays people look more into, rather than being scores, more into the personal statement, number one. Number two, also the letters of recommendation. That is the key thing nowadays people look into. Scores is just if you look at the Boston Children's website, they clearly mentioned we just don't look at scores. So that's something you should work on. So in letters of recommendation, try to get a good letters of recommendation from people who you work with. They know you. Like, I don't want a letter of recommendation for a people who is giving me letters of recommendation who just give me a cliche statements, that this guy is so and so, he's hardworking, he's always coming on time. That's everyone can read, but something personally, like I know, like I know him, and also they also take like a specific personal statements. I have worked with them also, and so, and I have experience with so and so cases. So that makes a big difference when they are reading your personal statement, or sorry, your letters of recommendation. And try to get it as much as from the head of department as possible, because they will have more titles. That makes a difference too. And the next thing is the personal statement. You have to definitely frame a personal statement in a way that you are coming to United States to have a really good achievement in your career. And then you should not be just like, oh, I love, for example, in pediatrics personal statement, you say, I love to work with kids. That's are all the everyone writes, but I have to be a story behind it. If I had a really good story behind it, and that's something my program director asked me when I was interviewing here, and he was surprised by those stories. But you should have a story. I mean, if you don't have a story, I will try to say to make up a story. But There's some point you think, why should be you in this specific program, or why should you choose this specific residency? So that's something you have to really work hard on, and try to contact anyone you can to get some publications, some articles, some case reports published, or either not published. Even if it's not published in big journals, you can at least publish in the local journals. That's fine too. So that's all other key, like main ingredients you need to make a better outcome in your application when you're applying to United States in any program. And obviously, in Brookdale, or where she is right now, they also have, I think you are doing a 2 years residency, right? Believe, Rashmi?
No, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. It's supposed to be 3. I hope, because I want to do child neurology. I hope they cut it down for me, but
I
it's
mean,
3.
I don't know whether you applied for the American Board of Pediatrics waiver, but if you're trained in the United States, if you finish your residency program, so that's some things you should know. Okay,
Yeah.
if you're trained
Yes.
elsewhere, like in India or any other country, and you have done a residency. So if you've done a residency and you are ECFMG certified, you can apply to United States American Board of Pediatrics for a waiver. That's something you have to apply with your CV, with your ACFM certificate, and tell them, I am trained in so and so places. I need an American Board of Pediatrics waiver so that I don't need to do all 3 years of residency. And they will give you a paper. That's why I'm doing 2 years of residency in Boston Children's. So
Yes, that was in my bunch of questions actually. Yes, Dr. Kunhiabdullah, please, yeah. Go ahead.
many people
Yeah.
I have, so that's what I'm saying. I have plenty of information for people who are trying to figure out where exactly they have to go, that they can just apply for ABP waiver. Uh,
Mhm.
um, and there's, I know that maybe this is the same person I emailed before. I can share with, or you can easily find on the ABP website. You can apply to them. That I am so and so. I have finished my training so and so places, and I'm ECFMG certified. They will look into your CV. They will look at your ECFMG certificate, and they will issue you a paper from ABP, mentioning that you don't need to do 3 years of residency in the United States. You only need to do 2 years of residency. That's from pediatrics. I'm not sure about other programs. I do know other programs who are looking for radiology. They're trained in radiology in elsewhere. They can apply for any fellowship in United States, and two fellowships, and then they get board eligible for that specialty. Okay,
Yes, yes.
I don't know about other program, but that's something they could do. I do know, I do have friends who did that from
Oh,
Qatar. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And we
So
actually wanted to ask you, Dr. Kunhiabdullah, why USMLE for you? What motivated you, and when did you start your journey into USMLE?
I mean, first of all, as I said to you, I didn't have any much idea. I do want to come to US, but I don't know. There's no one to guide me at that time. When I was
Hmm.
doing my med school, people talk about that, but in India, it's not like a always something, or you do think about going to United States, right? Like when I was finishing med school, there was only one person who was slightly motivated to come to United States, but the rest of them people were like, okay, we are going to do training here. That's the norm, but we have to think out of the box nowadays. So I mean, I'm so happy that my who I'm here right now, and my colleagues also say that you made the right step to come to the United States. So what made me think is that when I was in Qatar, so in Qatar, as I said to you, they always have a thing that coming to the United States is something which no one could accomplish. So when I was talking to my friends there, they're like, in year after residency, my colleagues are moving to the United States for further residency. So
Hmm.
I thought then I got many information how to apply, how to make your CVs better. So then it's my dream to come to the United States, but I thought that when you have family, kids, and then it was not easy to work with the USMLE steps. So I did my USMLE steps CK to come to Qatar. Then I did my step 1 in my 4th year of residency, and then my step 2 CS in my 1st year of fellowship, and then my step 3 in my the 2nd year of fellowship. So that gave me an idea that I should come to the United States. Should have better training. And not better training, I'm more training in the sense that I can practice any part of the world. So that's
Yeah.
something you should think about. Like in India, I know it's a training is not it's really great, but at some point, it's also getting slightly saturated in the sense that, and also you should have a in India, the little bit of concern is that you don't have a work-life balance, right? If
Yes.
you
Yes.
don't
Yes.
have balance, you are just working, and you may or may not see your kids when before they go to bed. So
Yes.
that's something you should think when you're in your life career, that you really want to be doing that the whole life, or you want to have some peace of mind where you can spend time with your kids, or your family. So that made me think, and also that made me think to come to United States, because I'm a little bit more towards doing a little bit of more research in my field, mainly clinical research, and that Qatar was not that place that which will give me more exposure to the clinical research. So I decided to come to United States. That's why.
Awesome, awesome, Dr. Kunhiabdullah, and very inspiring answer, and all that you said information as well. The next question was, so from Qatar, like the reason you decided to do your residency in Qatar was because you wanted to build up connections to ultimately come to the USA. Was that, am I right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's one. And also Qatar's training is not also. I mean that's an amazing training place. If you want someone who wish to stay in Middle East, oh my God, that's an amazing training site. You will see cases you may not see in your career at all, because it's the only level 3/4 center for the whole country, and you will see all the pediatric cases, whichever rare. I have seen plenty of syndromes which I only read in textbooks, because they have so much consanguinity. You see all kind of syndromes, all kind of complex cases, and their NIC is huge. I mean, I was working in NIC where they have a 120 bed unit NICU, which is
120? Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's few institutions in the world. And I don't think they have 120 bed NICUs in. I mean, I have found in the United States place they have 80 to 100 beds, but not more. They have a capacity, they can go up to 140 bed, and it's a level 3 with also they have a level 4 NICU, another 50 bed with an ECMO service. So that place, I would say Qatar is one of the best place. If you want to stay in Middle East, they can get trained. You will be happy with the money, because they provide you an immense amount of money during your training, which you will not find anywhere in India or anywhere in the world, because they provide you at least, if you talk in dollars, it will provide you at least $6,000 to $7,000 per month without taxes, if you're getting trained there. So that's good money to support yourself, support your family, support everybody. I mean, it's something we can't get in United States too, and
Mhm, mhm.
something which, I mean, I'm not here to telling to go to Qatar, but I'm saying that's a really good bridge who want to come to US, but they don't have a chance in first place, but they want to look into that.
They want to explore more opportunities. Very well said, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. My dad works in Saudi, so we know a bit about no taxes and how much difference it makes on the salary. So
Exactly.
it is a very drastic difference. But ultimately, coming to the US, forming like, so you got into your perinatology, like your neonatology fellowship in Cleveland. How did you get that opportunity? And
Yeah,
yes,
great question. So as you know from my CV, I was PEDS trained and NICU trained in one of the good NICUs in the Middle East, and then they looked into my CV. I mean, uh, uh, they thought I would be the right fit, and I got like interviews from really good institutions. One of them, Cleveland Clinic Mental Health, and Iowa, University of Iowa, and also from sunny downstate. I also got interview from Alabama, not Alabama, sorry, Albany, and few other places too. Texas, Baylor, Scott and White. Uh,
yes.
but at that time, I decided, like, Cleveland Clinic and Metro Health, they told we do have an extra position because one of the fellow left early on. So if you
Okay.
want to have a rematch, we are happy to do that. So I mean, and Cleveland Clinic and Metro Health is one of the best institutions. I don't want to put my luck on the match. So they
Mm.
offered post, Shafeeque, why don't, if you want to sign early on, we are happy to have you. So I told, okay, why not? I mean, so I
Same,
just signed.
Dr. Kunni Abdullah. Same, because I was dual applying. I was applying to child neurology because ultimately that's what I want to do. So I went to I had child neurology interviews and pediatrics, and I same personality I guess both of us have, because I like being sure than a maybe, as you
Yeah,
said, than waiting. I was like, this is right now. This is what they're offering me. I better take it and not wait on the maybe. So I
I,
think. Yes, we have very similar personalities in that sense.
Well,
Um,
it's time chance that the people call you and say you like, okay, we would. And in the US doesn't happen like that for immigrants. It's very hard, but people, when they know you, they look at your CV, they like you. I mean, if they ask you, I mean, that's a beginning. Just say yes, because you never know next year. Then you are losing one more year, you know. So I would say just take yes. And when you come to the United States, you know, if you are on a, you can do as much as residency or as much as fellowship you want. Not as much as residency, but as much as fellowship you want. And in really good institutions. And then you can build up your CV. I mean, don't have to say, I'm in a not in a great program, but I would like to have in a great program later on. That's possible. Here they don't care wherever you come from. They accept you. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I was in a Cleveland Clinic Metro Health, and I never dreamed of seeing the door of Boston Children's.
mm.
So it was that also a pre-match. They called me, Shafeeque. We have a PGY2 spot open. What do you think about coming here? I mean, I'm, if I say no, that means I'm mad or I'm insane.
That is
So
true.
I mean that. And then, but there's a specific interview for Boston Children's. If you're coming as a PGY2, they have a specific way of interviewing. They have some special interviews going on, and then only they decide whether to take you or not.
Yes, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. The next question was, how is can the fact is that you cannot practice right after doing fellowship. Do you have any like information on if you know somebody who has practiced right out of fellowships, or you have to repeat residency?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So in pediatrics, I know, but in and radiology, I know, but in other specialties, I'm not sure. In pediatrics, you can't practice after your fellowship. You have to have a residency to be board eligible for pediatrics. So first you do once you finish your fellowship, you can do a pediatric residency, which is either 2 or 3 years, because it depends on where you get. So if you have a waiver, you can just do 2 years, and if you don't have, you have to do 3 years. So I would say you once you do your residency, you do your PEDS boards first, then you will have to do your NICU boards.
Yes. And
Yeah,
reaching out to people, how like you had connections through LinkedIn, or what was your platform that you like reaching out to people in?
yeah. So when I was applying for fellowship here, I did have connections into Metro Health Cleveland Clinic, because my so in Hamad, when you work there, the most of the faculties are from either from US or UK or
Okay.
Australia. So one
Okay.
of my I was working with, he was previously working in United States, because he was working in my institution. So he emailed the programs there and other programs. Then he found a few programs where I could potentially get interviews. But after the
Okay.
interview, fine. So, well, you can obviously reach out through LinkedIn. Like, for example, people are reaching out to me through the LinkedIn website right now to try to help find the best place to apply. I do know where should you apply, because I do know where they really look for people who are interested in people like us who come from abroad with some experience, even without experience, they consider immigrants to be in their program.
Mm-hmm.
So I am trying to guide whoever reaches out to me to
Yeah.
sometimes that easy when I to find time to help them, but whenever I have time, I try to help them to find the right spot to apply.
Yes, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. It was really like enlightening, the whole the thing that you had, the process that you went through, and you talking about Qatar and all of your experiences. And the other question was, if you have to go like through the fellowship pathway, and you have to like do a neonatology fellowship, you build connections, you do residency again, what is your prospect? So after you start your job again, are you going to be considered a neonatology perinatology fellow with a fellowship, or you're going to be like a gen peds, and then they will be like looking at you? Because I had one of the questions, they were like, can we, after you're done with your first you were done with your fellowship and then your residency, so next you'll be just joining into hospitals as a fellow, like your attending would be a fellow position, if that
No,
makes sense. I'm so sorry, it was a confusing question.
yeah, it's okay. But so when you do your fellowship before your residency in the United States, you have to first get your we will be applying for the jobs for because I didn't my NICU, I'll be applying for neonatology jobs. Okay, and I already have interviews going on right now.
Okay.
So before you call, I was an interview. I'm sorry, that's why I was a delay in logging in.
Okay.
Yeah, so you will be applying for neonatology jobs, and they will give you a job because they know you are board eligible for NICU because you did a pediatric residency. But before that, before NICU board, you have to do your PEDS boards.
Mm.
Uh, then only you can do your NICU boards. So that's something we should know. But there's no. So imagine you do. I do have friends who did ID fellowship and then PEDS boards, who was an ID attending here. I do know people who did rheumatology fellowship and then in the United States, and then the PEDS, and they are rheumatologists here. I know gastroenterologists who did fellowship and they did residency. I know like pretty much many people who are doing that. Yeah.
So, for the fellowship application, is it like like is it a different again, you have to apply through ERAS and then fellowships match and then that is the whole
Yeah.
process, or you? Yes.
The process change. The process is the same. You can or you can do apply. Some gambling you have to make consider is that you can apply for both the fellowship and residency at the same time in the ERAS. That's not an issue. But there
Okay.
is fellowship that comes earlier. So if you get the fellowship, you have to accept that because it's an NRMB match. But if you then you have to withdraw from the NRMB match of the residency. You can go for interviews, but you can't
Okay.
but imagine if you don't match in fellowship, still have an open spot for residencies too. You can go for those interviews and you can also rank them. And if you match, that's good. I mean, but that's slightly expensive because you're yeah. But you will not lose 1 year. I mean
Mm.
that's something you can make it up. But so time is the money here. It's so you try to do that too. And also when you're training in outside United States in pediatrics or whatever it is, you can look for PGY2 sports. If you have any waiver, you can. There are PGY2 sports in American Board of Pediatrics website, not American Board of Pediatrics, Pediatric Program Directors website in United States. There's something called opportunities or careers. They always post PGY2 spots empty. So if you have waiver from outside, you can apply to them. And if you have a waiver with you, and some many centers consider that you can come as a PGY2. You don't need to do a whole 3 years. You just come as a
Oh,
PGY2, get done in 2 years. Board certified in pediatrics, then you can you choose your fellowship. So
that
that's
is a that's very good piece of information, Dr. Kunhiabdullah.
many people doesn't know, then that's fine. I mean, many people doesn't know that. So these are the key information you should be looking for. Like in a pediatric program director's website, you are going to that, go to the career opportunities or careers, and then you can find PGY2 sports, PGY1, PGY3, because there's sometimes people leave for some reason they have. And in that case scenario, you can apply for those and you will be I mean, I'm not guaranteeing 100. They will take you. The thing is that you at least you will be considered in there, and they will either this year or next year. You can talk to them again, and then consider as a PG wife's one spot. You make connections. That's how you make connections. You talk to them about and when talking to the coordinators, be polite and all those things. You know that, but I'm saying that because that makes a difference. If that person can make you unmatched. Yeah.
That is very true, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. That's very true. Lovely points that you put out, and so much information that I have got personally talking to you. So many points that I have learned, and so thank you so much for giving your time for this webinar. And you've been a very humble, like amazing person to talk to. To be honest, having so much under your belt, you would think that the person is a bit arrogant or whatever, but you were exactly opposite. You were so easy to talk to, and you gave so many good pointers. And thank you. If you have any other inside USMLE points you would like to share, please do.
Yeah.
And
The final point, my USMLE score is 209 and 210. So people who are thinking that USMLE score is the big difference to make changes in your life, I'm the perfect example that you always have a chance and you can accomplish whatever you want. My scores are 209 in step one and 210 in CK. Okay, but I passed all in first attempt with God's grace, and I still finished my step three stage. So people who are thinking they are done with this USMLE scores, they have lost their life and they have nothing to do. I am the perfect example. You can be wherever you want if you have a good heart, willing heart to apply for residency fellowship. don't worry. You just have to work hard, and you will be in the place you can't even ever imagine. Just work hard on your CV and try to make connections. And I would say connections makes a difference. If you come for a fellowship here, people know that you are in a good training program, and people know that you are a hardworking person. They will advocate for you. They will definitely advocate for you. So if they advocate for you, that makes a big difference. I got into Boston Students because of that. People advocated for me because I did my hard work as I can be. Even though I'm NICU trained, I didn't the NICU training here in fellowship in the United States. I did my due diligence working as a good fellow, and that's what gave me the chance to get into Boston Children's.
Wow, Dr. Kunhiabdullah, so inspiring. I was very shocked in the end with your score, but I think your resilience is what stood out to them as well. Like you not quitting, right? So
Yeah.
whatever happens, like all these, some people are there, some IMGs, oh, I didn't get 250s. I think I have quit the journey. No, no, that is
No,
not true.
I spoke to many program directors here, and we are also part of sometimes in reviewing the CV. So when I spoke to the associate program directors or program directors, they are saying scores. Anyone can have a good score, and the by chance or by luck, or that person might have a bad day and he didn't have a good score. But nowadays they are mainly looking towards the personal statement, their letters of recommendations, and how well they perform in the interview. I mean, that's something key. Be well prepared. Be well. You have to frame your answers in a nice way that people know that you are really coming to the program just to not just to not to tick the box. You want to have that exposure, and you want to work hard, showing yourself that you will be excelling in that career eventually. So that's what makes a difference. So just try to work on your CV, just try to work on yourself. Scores is one part of it, but there are many other parts you have to be taken care of.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kunhiabdullah. So the meeting is going to be adjourned right now. I'll post a YouTube link and I'll post it on my LinkedIn as well. Thank you for being such a great, great, great guest. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.